Situated at the heart of the city of Coventry, Herbert Art Museum and Gallery is an important tourist attraction of the city. The museum and art gallery was opened to the general public in 1960s. The museum is named after Sir Alfred Edward Herbert, who donated a sum of £100,000 in 1938 to pay for the museum and the art gallery. However, due to the World War II, the construction of the museum was delayed.
As it came into the 1930s, Sir Alfred Herbert, the famous machine tool manufacturer, donated to the city some money to create an art gallery specifically. This work was halted before the war, and after the war a lot of Coventry had been destroyed and we started building again. And sadly, Sir Alfred Herbert died just a year or two before the main museum building opened in 1960.
The museum is home to hundreds of thousands of collectibles, from tiny insects to giant industrial machinery, and mesmerizing paintings by renowned artists. The museum has wide-ranging collections that fall into four main categories, namely visual arts, social and industrial history, archaeology, and natural history. An important collection of artworks relating to Lady Godiva can still be seen at the Herbert Art Gallery, who is said to have ridden on a horse naked through the streets of Coventry in an effort to persuade her husband, Earl Lothric, to stop taxing people. The art gallery has a whole section dedicated to Lady Godiva named Discover Godiva. This section features some of the most famous paintings of Lady Godiva by the prominent artists, the likes of John Collier, Edwin Landseer, and Alfred Woolmer.
So one of the interesting items in the social history collection, and there are of course many, is a piano that once belonged to George Eliot, who was a writer. Her birth name was Mary Ann Evans, and she grew up primarily in Nuneaton or the surrounding area, but also spent some time in Coventry. Of course, she didn't do a lot of her writing in Coventry, most of that was done in London, but she did base a lot of her life, her works, around North Warwickshire and Coventry. And we do have her piano. And when I started here, we knew it was George Eliot's piano, but we didn't know when she had it from. But after being able to research the manufacturer's records, we're able to find out that it was given to her by her partner, George Henry Lewis, on her 50th birthday. And she had it with her pretty much for the rest of her life, moving between her homes in London and Surrey. So for that reason that we're able to sort of research that and really know much more about the piano. That's one of the key items in the social history collection.
Herbert Museum has a large collection of clothing, mainly women's dresses from 19th and 20th century. These present the dressing and fashion style of the century for women. The museum holds over 60 samplers from the 1880s. They were a symbol of a young girl's patience and skills and formed an important part of her education. Museum has collections of shoes that were made from kid leather, skin of a young goat. There's a whole section dedicated to World War II in the museum. This section portrays the experiences of the city during the Second World War. Coventry suffered a major attack on 14 November 1940. A part of the gallery displays and portrays how the World War affected the lives of common people of Coventry as they coped with shells and bombs. After the World War, new Coventry began to emerge from the ruins.
Hello, I'm visiting from Edinburgh in Scotland. We've researched a little bit about Coventry before coming, and we read about the Herbert Museum and Gallery. What impresses me most is where the pictures are hung in the gallery. They're much more comfortable to view, and you can appreciate the detail in the picture because they're lower down the wall. I think that is a great asset to the gallery, and we are really enjoying our visit.
The largest painting in the building is the Giordano, which is an image of Bacchus and Ariadne. And during our redevelopment, it was one of a few items that actually had to remain in the building. It was really too large to move out of the building, too delicate.
I've come to visit the museum today to look at the old children's programmes. I'm interested in that because I would like to see the history of the different programmes that was on telly and kind of relive what I watched when I was little.
The History Gallery at Herbert tells the story of Coventry from the medieval period to today. This section of the museum is home to many collectibles and items dating back to the medieval period. This section reflects the diversity and depth of the Herbert's archaeological and historical collections. The Hearth and Home section of the History Gallery has a variety of household items from both poor and rich, providing a glimpse into the lives of Coventry citizens during the medieval period.
We come to the Herbert Art Gallery quite regularly. We probably come once every 4 or 5 months. We live in Leicestershire now, but originally I was born in Coventry, so we like to come back and visit. We've got so much on for the children. My children are actually in the TV one at the moment with their cousins, and I've got my family over from Norway, so they're all just enjoying what Coventry's got to offer, really.
Here at the Herbert, we're a very proud museum on our family focus. So we're happy to welcome absolutely everybody through our doors, but there's plenty to do. Come along as a family now, whether that's carers and children, grandparents and children. There's always something to do, whether it's a focus activity, but also in every gallery we've got something to do, something to touch, something to play with, something to find out more, and it's really aimed at everybody.
We use the art gallery with all its art and activities to help teach media skills. Those media skills aren't just about learning, camera work or graphics, editing things. They're also about all the other embedded skills that we use. This gallery has a lot to offer.
So I'm interested with this documentary that someone's been interested in their local museums, looked at the Transport Museum before and actually come up here to the Herbert. Quite often when you talk to people in the surrounding area, you say you work for the Coventry Museum. They've only ever heard of the Transport Museum, but really there's a lot to do at the Herbert, and I'm delighted that the Herbert's being featured in this documentary.
The museum portrays history and story of the city of Coventry locally and internationally, so the people who come to visit the museum can appreciate how Coventry's spirit echoed throughout the history and continues to inspire and influence the world we live in.